We are now on to episode 3 of Ahsoka, the self-proclaimed religious experience. That is what Dave Filoni promised me, that it was a religious experience, yet it turns out once again it's more like a clown show. That's what this series has been so far. We've got a big space battle coming up. One of the worst space battles I think I've ever seen. Just nothing makes any sense. Nothing works, but we'll get to that soon enough. First, we have to get to boring woman talking boring women nonsense. That is what we've got on the agenda for episode 3. So, where we left off in the previous episode, remember when Sabine got stabbed by a lightsaber and survived, and then people said, oh no, it's fine. That makes sense, apparently. So that happened in the previous episode. They lost the little ball that gives them the location to where Admiral Thrawn is. So they put a tracker on a ship, and they're off to follow that. So we've got a lot of nothing. A lot of nothing. So they're currently in hyperspace. This is where we start the just talking. It's just a load of talking. Nothing really interesting is said. Just a load of bollocks. That's where we're at. So it turns out that she's getting trained as a Jedi or some shit for some reason. She's going for her training. Do we get anything here? Yeah, she's training. A few days ago, she got stabbed by a lightsaber. She made a full recovery in one night. You know, that's very strange. That is. I mean, that's how it works. You just get this roasting hot piece of just hotness put inside your body. You recover in a day. You don't just instantly fucking die, or at the very least go through months of getting back to a full recovery. No, it doesn't work like that. You just get over it in a day. So she's now training with the robot. With what's his name? I wrote his name down this time, so I should eventually remember it. Hai Yang or something like that. I only just realised that it's voiced by David Tennant. I mean, he could be doing better things, but you know, I suppose he wanted to do this for some reason. So they're training. Hai Yang's like, you ain't ready. You're pretty shit. So I'm now starting to like this guy. I'm starting to like him. You know, Ahsoka comes in. She folds her arms. Fucking boring. Such a boring character. They've done nothing with her so far. Just no emotion. Can't emote, even though Rosario Dawson can act. No, we just get nothing for her. It's just fold my arms and say some shit. That's it. So the robot's like, Lady Ren ain't ready for this technique or something like that. We then get some exposition from Ahsoka about where Sabine comes from. We already know that based on seeing the fucking Mandalorian helmet in episode. We already know that she's Mandalorian. She was brought up by the Mandalorians. She has a Mandalorian helmet. That doesn't need to be stated. But every time they feel the need for Ahsoka to say, your skill with a weapon comes from your Mandalorian upbringing. Right, so Sabine probably knows that. She doesn't need you to remind her that. You know, why you have to... It's like, yeah, she's got skill with a sword. You know, with a weapon. She knows... there's no reason to say it. We get a lot of redundant dialogue in this episode. And then we just get a big training thing. She's just like, learning to wield the Force takes a deeper commitment. The thing I find strange is that Sabine used to be Ahsoka's apprentice, yet they act as though that wasn't the case. They come across like, oh, Sabine doesn't know anything. So, yeah, but you trained her. You trained her before. You didn't complete her training, but I assume you got pretty far enough that you don't need to teach her the basics. But that's how they act, as though this is day one. It's like you're essentially picking up where you left off if you already trained her somewhat as your apprentice. So they're just going to do a big thing. She's like, oh, put this mask on. We actually find out that the robot that I now like said to her, that according to Huang, I'm the worst candidate to be a Jedi he's ever known. So I'm really starting to like this guy. Of course, she's eventually going to be amazing. It's not going to take long to just be as skilled as say, Ahsoka. It's not going to take long till she has the full capacity to be able to use the Force. It's going to come up in the next episode. It's going to, all right, I can use the Force now, even though at this very moment she doesn't have that ability. We can talk about that a bit more when we get to it. So she's like, put this helmet on. She's like, there's more ways to fight. You don't have to see, it's all that sort of stuff. Sabine can't seem to, she's like, yeah, but then I can't see. Surely you understand what's happening here. I don't know why you need to say those lines. Unless you think your audience is so stupid that they need that spelled out for them. The reason, what, the audience is there wondering, why is she putting that on her face? We can't instantly go, oh, she wants to, we've seen this in so much, you don't need to explain this. I mean, you can just skip whatever. It's not even worth it sometimes to go that far into it. So they do a big fighting thing. We can move on because it goes on for about 7 minutes. It's like, get on with it. Just do not need it. So she gets all angry, and Ahsoka's like, yeah, you let your emotion, it's all that shit. It's all that nonsense. It's like, yeah, we know. We've seen this in so many things. This episode is time to fly like a complete fucking clown. So we then go to Green Woman that has these things on her head for some reason. Why does she have that on her head? Is she flying a World War I bomber? Is that what her role is? No, she's inside a spacecraft. Why do you need these goggles and shit? I don't know. It's like, even if you need them for the sun, why are you just constantly walking about with them on? You're not the fucking aviator. So I don't understand why she's got them on, but she does. So we've got Mon Mothma, and it's just, she's like the Chancellor now, and this is like the senators. So what this green twat is going to do is she's trying to get resources to go and help Ahsoka. To go and put a stop to the people that are trying to bring Thrawn back. So that's what she's there to do. We soon realise how fucking stupid the New Republic is. Very stupid. I don't know what it is, but the New Republic, they don't think about anything. They just have all this bureaucratic bullshit when it's like, yeah, but it's obvious. They're just so delusional. I don't know what the goal is with having the New Republic just be utterly retarded. I don't know what the goal is with that. It's the same shit we got in Mando Season 3. They are just absolutely clueless. They do very pointless things that doesn't make any sense. But here we are. It's current Star Wars. So she comes in. They start, having a chit-chat. Let me see. All right, whereabouts are we? So, yeah, she basically catches them up with what we've already seen, so we can probably skip this part, don't necessarily need it. She's just saying, my investigation with this attack led us to the planet that we were on in the previous episode, where it turned out that there was Imperial loyalists that were still employed by the New Republic, I assume. So that's what she catches them up on. You get this woman who's a fucking idiot. She's just like, oh, those Imperial loyalists that worked out, that they were just outliers. They were just outliers. She even then goes on to say, we have former Imperials working throughout every level of the New Republic government, and they've all taken oaths of loyalty. So she just told you that there was Empire loyalists within something to do with your New Republic, and you're like, oh no, yeah, we've got them too. It's like, you're not realizing that maybe you should worry about this. If it's happened somewhere else, maybe you should start to think, yeah, maybe we can't trust these Imperials that we somehow thought was a good decision to put them at every level in the government. Because they can't possibly turn on you when the time is right. I don't get that decision. It's like, you go to, I believe it was episode 3 of Mando season 3. They had ex-Imperials working there, but not at levels of the government. So I don't know why you've now went, oh no, they're in the government as well. Oh, all right. You're not worried about that. You're not worried about that after getting this news that the people that were employed here turned out to be Empire loyalists. That surely would get you somewhat worried. If it can happen there, why can't it happen here? So no thought goes into that whatsoever. Whereabouts are we? So yeah, the green woman, Hera, she says to him, I can't be fucked with Hera. I really can't. She's just so... I don't know what it is about her. Is it just the actress? I don't know. It's just... Everything is said with a certain smugness. She acts like a child. When we get to the end of this sort of segment, she's just fucking annoying. Really annoying, really boring, but what can you do? That's every other character in this show at the moment. So yeah, she's just like screaming, "Long live the Empire!" Probably isn't the loyalty that you want. So Mon Mothma says, "It was my understanding they were arrested and the facility was shut down." Right. So it's fine then. Just because, oh no, those ones are arrested. There's no more. There's no more. They've all been arrested. Come on, Mon Mothma, you're smarter than that. We all know it. You are smarter than that. So it's this guy that isn't sold. He says to Hera, "You're talking absolute bullshit. You just want to take resources off us. That's what you're after. You just want our resources that we need to go and find Ezra Miller. That's who she's off to find. I don't know why Ezra Miller, but that's who she's after." So that's what... And again, it's just... You get more redundant dialogue, because that guy says, "I know, you're just using this to get our resources." Oh, yeah, you'll just use it. He says it twice. It's like, yeah, you only need to say that once. So it's just redundant. It's like what you said, you don't need to say again, because you just said the same sentence, but differently. So there's a lot of that. Dialogue's fucking shit in most places. So she tells them, I believe there's a larger operation that is attempting to find Thrawn. But yeah, she has reason to believe that he's alive and that his allies are trying to find him. Well, I mean, that's pretty much proven. Is that not proven at this point? So she says, "I want to send a task force to the Denab system. That's where Ahsoka and Sabine are going." And then that's when that guy there, he's like, "Be honest. You just want to take our resources." Yeah, this is just to gain New Republic resources to find Ezra. And you're using the threat of Thrawn's return to acquire those resources. Yeah, he just said the same thing. He's trying to get your resources. So you said the same thing twice there. So that's when she gets all upset about this. She's like, were you ever in the war, Senator? You were, what did she say? No, you just sat back and waited to see who came out on top. So she's, yeah, and they're like, "All right, calm down." The other guy says to her, this guy here says, "Our job is to serve the people of the New Republic, and they don't want to be involved in another war." It's like, well, she's trying to prevent a war. Surely your role as senator is to prevent wars, because otherwise you have no choice but to get involved. So surely that should be on your mind. Nah, they're just like, nah, it's all bollocks. It's all bollocks. We're not going to believe you. We're not going to believe that the Empire have somehow infiltrated our New Republic by giving them jobs high level in the government. Couldn't possibly go wrong. Nothing could ever go wrong. Someone like Thrawn couldn't come back, and then the ex-Imperials then turn on the New Republic. Just couldn't happen. Couldn't happen. So, yeah, that's pretty much how it ends. Yeah, I don't think we have anything else. So, yeah, you just have this woman finishing off. If I just turn the old page again, it's honestly too big, this fucking notebook I've got. So yeah, she's just like, you're talking like you don't have a choice. And then that woman that bursted out earlier, she's like, don't we? I see no enemy. The Imperial fleet is scattered and broken, and no centralized command. Yeah, but that they could reorganize. So just saying, scattered and broken, fuck it. We'll worry about it when it happens, when you have the opportunity to prevent it. So Green Woman, she's just like, unless Thrawn returns, she's like, my friends died in wars and stuff. Ezra's dead. Well, no, that's what that guy there says. He says, I'm of the opinion that Ezra Miller heroically died. And she has a bit of an outburst saying, you don't know that. I thought you were a general. And you're like have an outburst like this. No professionalism. I mean, the Ezra guy might as well be dead. I don't know why you're holding out hope. He's in a completely different galaxy, supposedly. Maybe he's got a life there now. He's got wife and kids and all that. Maybe he's happy over there. I don't know. It could turn out that way. So yeah, that they just like, we need to have a conversation or something. Go outside. It turns out she's got a son, which is strange because she doesn't come across like the mother type. She just doesn't have that look about her. Her son comes up and he's like, I heard that Sabine was retraining to become a Jedi. I want to be a Jedi too, Mum. And it turns out, as we go into the next scene, that anybody can be a Jedi, apparently. Anybody can have the ability to wield the Force. They went from, you got to have something special about you, to, anyone can do it. Anyone can do it. Which just raises questions like, oh, right, why haven't the Imperials fought to do that then? Just get a load of people, try and train them in the Force. Why have they not done that? I don't know. It's almost like it doesn't really make a lot of sense. So, yeah, we sit down to more talking. Don't worry, we're getting close to the clown show. So she's just like, I want to be, have the best abilities right now. I thought with it being so important to have it now, it would just happen. Because that's what, you just have one training little session, and you have the full abilities of the Force and of the Jedi ways. So that's how it works. She's just like, I don't feel the Force like you do. I don't feel it at all. And Ahsoka's like, oh, the Force resides in all living things. So everyone just has it. Everyone, if they wanted to, would be able to use the Force. She just says, oh, most of them don't because of talent. Yeah, but you can, train talent, so don't really know what that means. She uses the Force. It's just just such sludge. It really is. So, yeah, she comes in and the robot's like, what do you think of her progress? She's like, what does she say? She's like, oh, Sabine's frustrated. It's a challenge for her. And that's when the robot says, oh, the Jedi Order would have never selected her. She would have never been suitable for the Jedi Order because the Jedi Order have very high standards. Ahsoka's response is, oh, yeah, but they failed. What's that got to do with what he just said? He said the Jedi Temple had a very high standard because they want the best. They want the best of the best because the Jedi Order is an order that is supposed to protect people. So you probably want the best for that. And Ahsoka's response is, that's... she's just like, oh, that's by their standards. And the robot's like, yeah, standards which were proven over millennia. And she's just like, yeah, but it failed. But no, it didn't. It still trained very good Jedis that were very good, had a good ability with the Force. So I don't really know what that's got to do with anything. The robot says, yeah, Mandalorians they're very rare to become Jedis. And Ahsoka's like, I'm not training her to be a Jedi. I just want her to be herself. Yeah, but you're training her to be a Jedi. I don't know. I don't know what this dialogue is. You're just contradicting yourself. You were asked, oh, take Sabine on as your apprentice again, only to say, oh, I just want her to be herself. Yeah, but she's going into battle. Maybe you want to prepare her, so you are in fact turning her into a Jedi. So yeah, she's trying the Force. Guaranteed she's able to use the Force, like, really, really... She'd be able to do the Kenobi thing, where he lifts up all the rocks, even though you can't do that. She'll probably do that in the next episode. It won't take a lot, because she's just going to be amazing, most likely. So they hear from Hera. She says to them, yeah, the New Republic ain't helping us. And that's when they finally get close to what they've been tracking. They jump out of hyperspace. Sabine asks a really dumb question, like, oh, why have we dropped out of hyperspace? Why did we drop out of hyperspace before we made it to the planet? You know, I don't know. Maybe you don't want to just go in there without doing some type of recon and see what is actually there. So finally, some ships show up and we get our space battle, and it's laughable. It is laughable. It probably goes about the way you would expect. None of, like, the the guns shooting at Ahsoka, they don't do any damage. So I'm just like, right, why have the bad guys come out in ships that do no damage? And I'm not even kidding, they do no damage. The green lasers that are shooting Ahsoka's ship, when you actually look at it, it's not doing any damage. It's just bouncing off it. It's doing nothing. So it's just like, why even bother? Yet when it's Ahsoka's turn or Sabine's to shoot a ship, oh, it works first time. Right, okay. So I don't know why the enemy came out in these ships. It's just absolutely pointless. But yeah, the majority of the shots all miss because plot armor. That's why. Always miss. So Sabine's missing as well, and then she gets it the second time, and she screams, "Woo! I got one!" Right. So we're watching a children's program now. I don't know why they continue to do that. They don't seem to understand the situation that they're in. It's like you're in a highly dangerous situation. It doesn't come across that way, like they realise it. You're one ship against 3, and then later a big massive fucking ring. And you're just like, it's all fine. We're gonna go, woo! What the fuck? You really need to drop that shit. It's just embarrassing. It's like, I thought we were dealing with adults here. They can't seem to grasp the situation. You got some twat wooing because she shot someone. So fuck off. So this goes on for a while. This goes on for the majority of the episode for about 15 minutes. It just goes on, and it's just a long line of bollocks. That's really all we get out of this. So they managed to get close to the little ring thing, which turns out to be a hyperdrive ring, which means they can go further and faster, so they can get to the other galaxy and find Thrawn, who maybe doesn't want to be found. I don't know. So they report back to her, said, "Oh, they've entered your witch. They've entered your airspace," and the witch is like, "I'm surprised you let them get this far." They went out in useless ships. The ships don't do any damage. So I don't know what you were expecting. So that's when the big lasers start off the ring. They start blasting. blasting at the ship until eventually one finally does damage. And they then have to repair the ship on the fly. I mean, usually you have to land to go, right, we've got to have some repairs here. But no, they just do it and it's fine. So they finally, so they're now like just floating. They're now just floating down. The enemies that were tailing them have disappeared. They've disappeared from the show because if they were here, then they just blast at the ship, and that's the end of Ahsoka Tano. That's the end of them, but no, they've disappeared. They've disappeared even though this is the perfect moment to get in, sit, and blast the shit out of the ship. And your job's done. No, they've gone. They've gone. Right, okay. So what happens is, like, she tells Sabine, right, you need to fix this ship. I'm going to go out and cause a distraction. So what would your guess be that's going to happen? Well, she's going to go out here. Like, yeah, she decides to take the ships one-on-one with lightsabers. Right, I don't understand the distraction. You're still on the ship. There's no... The only distraction is if you have a dropship and fuck off over there. That's a distraction, not, oh, I'm going to stand out on the ship. Right, so they're still going to shoot at the ship then. They're still going to blast that way. So, yeah, I can't believe what we're watching. So she's out on the ship. She's, you know, doing jumps and everything. Just out here fighting ships. The ships don't think, all right, this is a perfect... Let's sit here and blast the fucking ship. It's not moving. Instead, they go, nah, we're going to shoot the really tiny target. And we're going to get so close to them that they're able to strike us with their lightsabers. We're not going to go a bit higher so there's no possible way that they can hit us. No, we're going to go right down by her so then she slices one in half. Just no logic is you. It's like just sit at a distance and blast the ship. That is all you've got to do. You don't need to kill Ahsoka. If you destroy that ship, she's going to die anyway eventually. Because she's just going to be sitting in space. So that's what you should do, but now they start... Fucking hell. Why this? Why write it this way? I really don't know. So yeah, she slices one in half. It comes right down by her. Look, why would you... Why are you this low? Why do you need to be that low? It's like she's clearly going to be able to jump and take a wing off. Why would you get that close? I don't know. There's no reason to get that close. This is what's going to happen. I don't know why they're flying about. Surely you can just hover and then just shoot down at it. I don't know why no one's thought of that. But no, they've decided, now we're going to try and hit the very tiny target that we've got less chance of hitting. But then again, they couldn't even hit the big ship. They couldn't even hit it. Even though it's a very big target. So Ahsoka's floating in space and all that. She gets back in the ship. They then fly off down into this planet, and then the chase just goes on for another 5 minutes or so. We bump into some space whales. What did it? The Peligs, I think. The Pelins, something like that. So it's the space whales that apparently, I don't know, they were there when Ezra went missing. Because from what I've heard, is it not, a space whale flung Thrawn and Ezra over there, or something like that. Some bullshit like that, I don't know. So they just chase them through. They eventually lose them, and they're on the planet that we seen from the previous episode with the Stonehenge-like structure. So that's where they land down. You know, they sort of hide themselves in the forest. They shut everything down, I assume, so they can't. So the ships that come down can't go, right, we've got a signal over here. Yet they later turn it on anyway. Right, okay. So they sit down. The robot comes, like, boots up again. He's like, what did I miss? And they're like, we almost died multiple times. Yeah, you should have died. You should have died, but yet again, plot armor. So they're all fine now. We then we just get some exposition on what this ring is. It's just a hyperdrive ring that can get them over to the other galaxy. That's what it is. It's got multiple hyperdrives attached to it. That's what the witch was doing with the facility in the previous episode. And they're finally putting the last one in. That's when we're told, oh, and those space whales, they were there when Ezra disappeared. So we've got Balon. He tells the little robots, they're in the forest, go and hunt them down. So that's what we're doing in the next episode. Can we actually have Ray Stevenson do something in the next episode? Because that's what I'm quite interested to see. Everything else, kill Ahsoka, kill Sabine, don't really care. I don't care. So that's what we got happening in the next episode, is a massive hunt. Are we ever going to get to this Thrawn stuff? No. Because the next... So I can only assume the next episode, the entire time, is going to be them getting chased around this planet. That would be my sort of assumption. Or what's probably going to happen is Ahsoka is going to lead them away from the ship while Sabine, repairs it. And that's going to be another entire episode done. Half the season, still haven't done a thing. We still have not done a thing. I don't know what's going on over at Disney. Just every show they do, it's always like this. It's just like, right, yeah, but you've only got 8 episodes. So I don't know, maybe get a move on. This episode was 28 minutes. I don't get it with the inconsistent times. Do you not have the ability to just go 45-minute episode, 45, like every episode's just 45 minutes? I'd rather you didn't, but because this is shit. But I don't understand why it's like we go from almost an hour long down to 28 minutes. Just it's got such a problem with pacing. Just the majority of these Disney Plus shows, whether it's Star Wars or Marvel, they just all have the very similar problems. They do not make use of their time well. But I suppose that gets us done with episode 3 of this religious experience. But no, we just had a very terrible space fight that just... We've got a Jedi jumping about on top of the ship in order to cause a distraction, even though she's on the ship. And then it's just, none of it makes any sense. I mean, they don't have the ability. Ahsoka wasn't in any danger. It's like, I already knew that. Because it's how it goes with most new Star Wars, is it doesn't really adhere to a certain logic. It's just like, we can't have them get hit, because if they get hit, this will happen. So we just have the enemy constantly miss. Or when they actually get a shot on the ship, it does literally nothing. That's how we'll do it. When it's just like, give it some sort of stakes, but they don't. They don't. So yeah, there's nothing there to, I'm not worried. When I now see a lightsaber fight, I'm not worried, because you're fine. If you get stabbed by one, you're just fine. Yeah, if you're someone that's not important, you die from it. But that's the issues they cause within these. There's no stakes when it comes to space fights. There's no stakes when it comes to lightsaber fights, and you're expecting people to give a shit. When it seems quite like there's no shit given, really, or it's just nothing more than incompetentness. That's most likely what it is. But that gets us done with episode 3. So I suppose I will see you next week for episode 4, which will get us halfway through the season.